Welcome to Fireplace Conversations and a warm Merry Christmas to you and yours, wherever you're listening from. Today's episode is a little different. There are no frameworks, no crisis management stories, no startup war rooms, just presence. Because before strategy, before scale, before success, leadership is human, and nothing reminds us of that more than this season. Christmas has a way of softening the edges of our year. It's when deadlines take a breath, inboxes go quiet, and we're invited to something rarer than rest, reflection. We gather around trees and tables. We remember people we've lost, goals we didn't hit, people we became proud of, and maybe some we became disappointed with. We reflect on the year not as leaders, but as humans. Because before we're CEOs, doctors, founders, policymakers, we're sons, daughters, parents, partners, neighbors, and sometimes the most transformative leadership doesn't happen in boardrooms, it happens in living rooms. A few years ago, I worked a Christmas night shift in the emergency department. While others were around trees and turkeys, we were managing emergencies. There was a young man in his 30s who had come in with chest pain. He was alone, no family nearby, just sat there, scared. As we waited for results, I asked him, "Is there anyone you'd want us to call?" He shook his head. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Doc, I don't mind the pain. I just didn't want to spend Christmas by myself." That hit me, because leadership that night wasn't just in making the right clinical call, it was in presence, sitting with him for 10 quiet minutes, being there, in the middle of machines and medicine. That was the most human thing I could offer. You see, during the year, leadership is often loud. It's announcements, decisions, team meetings, roadmaps. But at Christmas, it becomes quiet leadership, making that one call to a colleague who's grieving, sending a handwritten note, not just a broadcast message, holding space for silence instead of filling it with strategy, letting yourself pause to feel the weight and gift of the year. This is the leadership the world doesn't measure, but it's the one people remember. Presence is underrated in our achievement-driven world, but I've found is that whether I'm advising a founder, coaching a team, or sitting with a patient, that the most powerful moment is not when I have the best advice, it's when I'm fully there. We live in a world of distraction, acceleration, and performance, but what people crave deeply is presence. That's the gift we often forget to give. And unlike money or gifts, presence is free and priceless. So this season, may we give more than we manage. May we show up more than we show off. May we be present, not just productive. Whether you celebrate it religiously or culturally, Christmas at its core is about light showing up in dark places. It's about generosity that surprises. It's about hope that defies headlines. And it reminds me of something I say often. Leadership isn't about position. It's about how you show up when things get quiet. So while the world pauses, ask yourself, who needs me to show up with presence this season? What parts of me have I ignored this year in the chase for performance? Where do I need to give myself the same kindness I give others? Because the truth is, the world doesn't just need more visionary leaders, it needs more present ones. As you listen to this by the fire or maybe on a walk, I invite you to do one small thing. Send a message to one person who made your year lighter. It could be a colleague, a client, a mentor, a friend. Not a generic happy holidays, but something personal, something real, because appreciation like leadership means more when it's specific. I want to take a moment to thank you. You've sat with me this year for conversations about complexity, courage, failure, systems, startups, and everything in between. You've brought your ears, your time, your feedback, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. To my clients, colleagues, partners, and listeners, thank you for letting me do this work. Thank you for believing in human leadership, and thank you for pulling your chair closer to this fire each week. Fireplace Conversations was never just about ideas, it was about warmth. In a world that often feels cold, this space was created for meaningful dialogue, for the kind of reflection that fuels resilience. And as we close this year, I want you to remember you don't need a bigger title to make impact, you don't need a huge platform to change a life. Sometimes all it takes is presence. So, from my fire to yours, wherever this finds you, in Lagos or London, in your kitchen or your clinic, alone or surrounded by family, I hope you take time to breathe, to grieve what didn't go as planned, to celebrate what did, to remember who you became in the middle of it all. You've led more than you know, you've endured more than most see, and you're still standing, which means you still have something to give. Merry Christmas, my friend, and thank you for walking this journey with me. This is Dr. Ikechukwu Okoh, and this has been Fireplace Conversations, the Christmas special. We'll be back soon with more stories, more fire, more truth. But until then, be kind to yourself, be present with others, and keep the fire burning. Merry Christmas.